Welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today I'm joined by Dave Azzopardi. Dave, another win under our belt. How you feeling? You're looking quite tired, mate.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I was out Saturday. For me now, it takes a few days to recover. And I went on a jog today, and now I'm eating fruit pastels like it was last week. You know, go on a jog and get McDonald's. This week it's fruit pastels. So yeah, but keep it well. Making a bit of a habit of the wins now. So happy days.
Yeah, well, life is about balance as well, mate. So,
exactly,
you've still got to enjoy yourself. You've still got to enjoy yourself. We're back with a full squad this week. Even after a win, Jord's back. How are you keeping, mate? Are you feeling a little bit worse for yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been on a 4-night stag do, and I landed literally 1 week ago, and literally my insides still feel awful. So I'm recovering really well, trying to recover as best as I can. I'm older than Dave, so it takes me even longer to get over this sort of stuff now. So yeah, like I say, if anyone ever needs a science experiment of a 4-night stag being too long, I can categorically tell you now it's way too long. You don't need to do that.
Whereabouts did you go?
Lisbon. So Lisbon. It was nice. We saw all of about 600 meters of it, about 6 or 7 Irish bars, Pink Street as it's called, and that's about it really.
Yeah. About 300 meters, that was a runway, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And of course, we're joined by Finn Morris. Finn, how are you, mate? I saw the vlog is back. We know Wolves are winning when the vlogs are coming back.
Yeah. I've sort of dodged the Tottenham and Chelsea games, went for the more high-profile Brentford at home. But I think, as a long-time listeners of this podcast will know, I couldn't miss up on the opportunity to get the jokes in. So yeah, I've actually done a video. But yeah, I'm all good. Glad to have us all back. It was only you two last week holding the fort. So
Yeah.
So apologies for that.
That's right. Yeah, we started talking about all sorts of crap. We were talking about McDonald's. We were talking about who we actually think is going to go. I think we spoke about 10 minutes about who we think is going to go down.
I had the steakhouse stack, Matt, after you talking about it on the podcast. I had it Saturday night after the win.
Any good?
Yeah, not bad. And for me, I know you'll like this. I had the sauce on it as well.
No,
I'm growing up. Well, it's peppercorn sauce. So I was like, yeah, it'd be rude.
Peppercorn.
Ooh,
it's
nice.
Well, we can talk about that a little bit later because I know that's the big details.
Sorry, we do that now, don't we?
Yeah, I was going to say it gets to like 55 minutes and fall apart at the seams. But Dave, back at Molineux again and another win. Starting to like this, aren't we?
Yeah, mate, I knew. You know what? Walked in, saw all the flags everywhere across the South Bank. Wonder Review starts playing. I thought this is going to be a good day today. And I had a flag on my seat, actually said Boston. And I was there waving it to Hi-Ho Silver Lining. But no, it just felt like no disrespect to Brentford. I thought it was one of our most straightforward games of the season. I just thought we just did everything correctly. We restricted Brentford massively. Ivan Toney was one of the sort of hottest players in the league right now in terms of form.
I'm glad you clarified that.
I know. I need to be a joke. We kept very, very quiet. So, yeah, really, really impressive performance and just an enjoyable match of football throughout, really, from a Wolves point of view.
I'm surprised I didn't see any memes after the game of Ivan Toney emptying his pockets today, and it was just like 4 bet slips. I thought someone would have done that by now, but yeah, it was. Did you take a flag home, Dave? Because I seen a lot of outrage on Twitter about people the old gold pack flags.
To be fair, I saw the tweet anyway, and I thought, although I could walk, I saw someone do it last week, and I thought, why are you taking that home? And there was only a few people that would have had them last week, but nowhere on the Wolves social media or in the ground was it said about leaving them there. So I can completely understand why people took them with them. But to be fair, I've got flags from like the League One and Championship season in my room, and they're just covered in dust. I'm never ever going to use it again. So I thought, what's the point? So I saw loads of people, like a few people messaging me going, why are people getting wound up? We weren't aware of it. And I says, oh, it is what it is, isn't it? So my brother took his home, but it's just a Billy Wright one. So you know what, the one thing about the flags, and I don't know whoever organising it, if they listen, there's one where it says Wolves, but there's an apostrophe in between the E and the S. Just me, or
it's not right.
Grammatically,
yeah, exactly. Grammatically not right.
Yeah. What's that behind your just right shoulder there, Dave? Is that a little
Which one?
Little Wolves flag.
No, no.
I can see the B on Boston poking out behind it.
Arrest me. No, but you know what? By the way, sorry, before I move on from that, you know what? When I was flying it, all my mates around me like, "What are you doing, man?" And I thought, you know, if you're an away fan looking at that, you either think that looks absolutely class or very tin pot. And to be honest, I saw a couple of the pictures, and it did look really, really good. To be fair, but I don't know. I think it's just
it looked good from the North Bank.
thing. Yeah, I know. You know, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked
never
good
happen again anyway because they've nicked them all. So.
Yeah. It looked good. I think just the sheer volume of them all made it look better.
Yeah.
I still think, though, I know we haven't talked about the game yet, but I still think, and the club are supportive of this when I spoke to them, that we need a tifo, even for Villa at home or Everton at home, the last game of the season. Just a tifo across the bottom. Out of darkness, come off light. Yada, yada,
Did
yada.
Forest have one this week?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure about this week, but
recently
they have done. They have. Yeah,
I'm sure they've got. Yeah, I'm sure they have a tifo pretty much every week, don't they?
They didn't have one when we played them last. They just held the scarves up when they played. What's the song that they sing?
I knew you were going to say that. I can't think what it's called either.
More love Kintyre. That's it, isn't it? More love Kintyre.
Yeah.
I thought it was down, down, down.
For anyone who is listening on Apple and Spotify, I've just hit the griddy in tribute to Gibbs White. But yeah, back to Wolves versus Brentford. Sarabia in Fin for Pedence. Sarabia's coming for a bit of criticism from a few sections of the fan base, but I really like him. I think he's such an intelligent player and he's more of an enabler, similar to Cunha. But were you happy with the team selection? I mean, he had to go pretty much unchanged after the win against Chelsea.
Yeah, there was not many places you could change. I think that left wing spot now we seem to have. I know it changes within the game, but if you look at it as Nunes on the right, he's looking a lot better there. So that left wing spot has been up for grabs. And I think Sarabia has mainly been a central or on the right player. And now it was the first time I think we'd possibly seen him on the left. So I was interested to see how it worked. You've got so many players for that position, Pedence, Swang, Neto, Sarabia. So there's tough competition there. And I think he did well. I probably didn't appreciate his performance until watching bits afterwards because, I mean, when the ball was played down that side, he's not got a burst of pace, has he? But we knew that. We know he's very technically good. And there was a few bits of the moves, as you say, like those the few bits that are like on Match Today and all that, of the back heels and the tippy tapping, all the nice bits that he was involved in that I just didn't appreciate. So maybe one in retrospect I've appreciated more because when he was subbed off, I thought, yeah, good decision. He hasn't done much. And yet he did have an impact. So yeah, if he can carry on doing that, I think it's tough to say whether he'll make that spot his because as I say, there's a lot of competition. But yeah, I don't think he did too much wrong.
Jord's probably more of an appreciator of, I feel like you are, of these kind of players. He's just like he just pops up in. He's always got space, and I think that's a sign of a good player.
100%. And I think he's so intelligent and picks up the half spaces. Always seems to have time on the ball. Makes the right decision 9 times out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
And like I say, I feel like a broken record. I've said it a few times on here. Like Wolves, there's a lot of Wolves fans who don't rate him because he hasn't got a Dharma pace or Neto pace, and he ain't going to do 2, step overs and get to the byline and whip a ball in. But for me, he's such an intelligent player, and for me, he's he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet for me every day. I think he's that good, and I'm just excited to see what's more to well, what else is to come from him because I think he's a really, really intelligent footballer, and I think he's just about getting to speed now with the Premier League.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we talk about getting up to speed, Dave, and a player who looks like he's up to speed, got back up to speed finally. He's Diego Costa. I mean, he's having a last couple of games. He's had a bit of an Indian summer, hasn't he? He won pretty much every single duel against 84-year-old Ethan Pinnock, who's age on this podcast. We seem to get shocked at every single
talking
week.
Ethan Pinnock every week. Yeah. You know what though? We see him in the flesh when he turned towards the South Africa.
He's old, man.
He does look 28, 29 to be fair. Yeah, mate, Costa was unbelievable. And I thought, like Finn said earlier, like some of the back heels and stuff, the Cunha chance at 0-0, fantastic work from Costa, but he looked brilliant. And again, I think I said it last week, if you can get the 60, 65 minutes out of him at that 100%, then you've got an asset there. I think it's a tad too early to be suggesting new contracts and stuff for him, because I just don't think he's seen it often enough. Because I know I've seen a lot of people mention it on social media today.
That was me and fans react.
Yeah. To be fair, Matt, I've seen quite a few people mention it as well. So I don't know. I think it might be just a tad too early. But if he puts in one or two more of those type of performances, I think you could do a lot worse. So what a really, really good performance. And I know he got fortunate with his goal, but when you're desperate for goals, you'll take them however they come, and hopefully, that's gives him a platform to try and get a few more before the end of the season.
When performances like that, and you haven't really seen a recognised striker play for your club for 2 years, you do start drinking from the Kool-Aid a bit, don't you? You start thinking, yeah, give him another year. Then you see the comments about Lamina coming out saying, he's the main man. We love him. He's a massive character. Like, I feel like, Finn, there might be a bit of a Diego Costa agenda coming into play. Someone summed it up fantastically in the fans react comments, because I said maybe it's, if Jimenez goes, it might be a good option to give him another year. And someone commented saying, Matt next week, foot Costa off in the Swedish. but it's true though, isn't it, Finn? I feel like we might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves. I feel like I am, but it's because it's Diego Costa.
It is, and he's achieved something. I don't know whether we're classing Cunha as an out-and-out striker, but he's achieved something that no striker has for a year, has he? So in our eyes, he has to stay. But no, I think it was more that comment saying, "Oh, he's brilliant behind the scenes," that starts then going, "Oh, maybe he could be part like cheerleader, part 20 minutes a game next season." You know what I mean? He's not going to kick up a fuss if he's not starting. I don't want to talk myself into it now as well. I'm getting as bad as you, but I think we've got several striking options contracted next season, haven't we? With Fabio coming back, Kaladzic, Jimenez, Costa. So a few have got to drop out. But if we do need that sort of backup / bring him on to stoke a fire, yeah, we'll give it a few more games before I even start going down this alley. But mate, he's teasing me. That's where he's at. He's looked at me across the bar.
Yeah, he's just lovable though, isn't he? I mean, he's a very, very rich man. He'd pretty much retired. He'd come to Wolves, and Jordy could have come for the payday, and of course he has come for the payday. I know that he wanted to bring his children back over to Europe anyway, because where he was in Brazil wasn't too safe. But he's a grafter, isn't he, man? If anything, he's a grafter.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? He's always. I think the one thing you can say, even when it wasn't going well from near the start of the season, was you could tell he cared and he was trying. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, especially when we were losing football games as well. He was trying. I think the sending off against Brentford in the reverse fixture with the Betmate thing was a bit petulant, but that is Diego Costa in a nutshell, isn't it? And look, I said when we got him in, if we got 5 goals for us, like, he's done a fantastic job. He's got 1 for us. So maybe he needs a couple more till the end of the season. But I mean, the last couple of performances, like you say, he's been excellent. You can't fault the guy. So more of the same. And I think it really helps the fact that Cunha's got someone to play off as well. I think that's as big a impact than it is Diego Costa.
Yeah, and I think the way that we set up, we had players around Costa. Cunha was always close. Sarabia was not too far away. You had either Nunes or kind of Gomez pushing forward, even sometimes Lamina. Like, David, it didn't feel isolated. And I feel like Wolves over the past probably 18 months to 2 years, there's been a real disconnect and just an absolute chasm between attack and midfield. But we're actually, bunched together and able to make those short, sharp, intricate 1-2s.
It just seems, especially in the last couple of weeks, it just seems so much more fluid. And I've said the unbalanced a number of times throughout this season, but it just feels like this 11, and we've been talking about it a lot since Lopetegui's come in, that he's struggled to find his best 11 or best selection of players. And I think this is possibly it. And I'm sure we'll talk a lot about the whole Neves situation and him possibly returning to the 11. But the last 2 weeks, his team have really shown, much better football, going forward, creating more opportunities and chances. And I think, just really, really good. And even Nunes, who's really, shone over the last 2 games, playing on the right-hand side rather than the left. has been brilliant. So just the last two weeks, you've just gone up a gear, I think, and it's been really, really good.
I think there's an element of fortune with the two finishes. The Costa one, he's obviously tried to trap it and can't. But we're getting into those right positions. But I feel that on the whole, we created enough and threatened the Brentford goal enough and got in the right positions to come away with 3 points. I know Thomas Frank said otherwise, but he's a wanker. There's no other kind of way of dressing it up. But Finn, that midfield three for me, and you know we'll come on to whether Neves comes into the side against Leicester later. But that midfield three they're just running teams over, aren't they? There's so much energy in that team, they're everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably not well represented to say Lamina and Gomez got up supporting Costa because they were up and near everyone, weren't they? They were everywhere on that pitch. And Nunes, as you say, I know I'm the chief FIFA correspondent, and this is a complete niche one, but go with me. I just remember when I got that Mateus Nunes last season when he had a Future Stars, a lot of his cards that came through the academy were right mid, not central midfield. But then obviously you see all the thing of him playing in that double pivot for Sporting, and then we tried him on the left. And it seems like, I know people say FIFA's unrealistic, but Lopetegui's had a look at his Future Stars and they were all right mid, and he is shining there. I know it works with that sort of playing in the two formations, and I think on the Sarabia thing and Costa was saying earlier, it's maybe a team that lacks pace up front, but you've certainly got it in that midfield. The burst of acceleration for Gomez and certainly Nunes. So we're well balanced, we're versatile with a formation wise as well with these players in these positions. So yeah, not too much to complain about at all. And that midfield three does Neves get back in. I didn't think I'd say that this season, but is it a coincidence with all the Nunes being unlocked, Gomez being unbelievable? I think he still probably gets in, but yeah, they've been great the last two games.
I mean, we'll talk about that later because quite a few people have asked, and we'll talk about that in the Leicester preview. But Jord, Finn says there about not having too much pace in the team up top with Cunha, Sarabia, Wang, Costa. But not that I disagree, but I think we've got not pace but energy, and energy from 0 to 90 minutes. Like Cunha runs his bollocks off; he doesn't stop, and he might be a little bit complacent in front of the goal, maybe not complacent, maybe not composed, but he allows others to play much like Sarabia, and you can see what they paid the money for, and they have overpaid. But there was a load of clubs in for him, but from all accounts, but you can see why he's such an intelligent footballer.
Yeah, I think infectious is probably the word for him. Like his energy on and off the pitch, he seemed like a real good fit for Wolves as a club, and the fans are right behind him already. And again, like we've said it, again, not to sound like a broken record, but I don't think he's ever going to get you 15, 20 goals a season, Cunha, but he might get you 10 or 12, and he'll set up another 6, 7, 8, and that's good enough for a team of our level. I think he adds so much to the team. I think the fact of going back to it with the midfield three, with Nunes, Lamina and Gomez, is for the first time since we're in the Premier League, we've actually got a balanced that midfield where, and again, I've spoke about it when we've come up against teams, Newcastle for prime example, where we've just been outran. They're not technically better footballers than us, but we've been outran in the midfield, and all of a sudden, I feel watching it, especially against Chelsea and Brentford, there's no midfield three. There's no midfield that's going to overrun us with them three in there. No, not a chance. Like they're so athletic. Good, and they win the tackles, they win the duels, they're up and down, and it's such a more balanced team, I think, with them three in midfield. So it is going to be interesting to see what happens with Leicester. But for me, I don't think you can change a winning team personally.
No, I don't. I think from a Brentford point of view, they had, and Mbeumo looked quite dangerous. I do like the look of him. He probably was the only real threat going forward, but the penalty incident, we've had a chat about this. We've had a chat about this before the pod, and I don't think personally you're going to see more of a Stonewall penalty this season, in my opinion. No, George, you said you don't think it's a penalty. Dave, you understand why it's not been given. Finn, what do you reckon?
From our North Bank view, I couldn't understand why it wasn't given. I'd say my sort of the adamance that it was, Stonewall penalty is probably dipped about 10%, just on the fact that you see how far the ball had got, as in would Totti have got to the ball, and also that he's like 20% on the way down, isn't he? But in the rules of the game, he didn't get the ball, takes Totti out. I still think it's a penalty, but I'm not as enraged at how on earth, it's not one of our absolute howlers, I don't think. I think I might be saying that if it had finished 1-1 and it had that big effect on the game, but I don't know. I think seeing it's maybe pushed me back up, going with percentages again, it's pushed me back up about another 5%, seeing the ref go to whistle, and then you get the conspiracy going, oh, he's realised it's Wolves, which obviously isn't the case. But what is he going for? Is he going to whistle for a dive? Is it because he's going to blow for something there? So how he can be whistle and then do that big, it reminded me of the Brighton one the week before where he did the massive adamant no penalty, so arrogant when it clearly is. So yeah, I'd say I'm at about 95% if we're calculating all those things that it is a penalty.
George, have you changed your opinion on it, mate?
I think it's tough, isn't it? Like, I think I try and look at all these really subjectively and try and take off my rose-tinted glasses. And again, like I think there's a lot of unconscious bias. I think other teams get given that penalty. And again, without saying conspiracy or not, I'm not one of these conspiracy theorists or whatever like that. But I think if that's Liverpool, Man City, whoever, they're getting, Man United, it's getting given. And over the balance of yesterday as well, I'm not sure if you saw the West Ham penalty against Arsenal, the Paqueta one. Like, the Totti one's more of a penalty than the Paqueta one, because Paqueta dived. For me, what I said, I don't think it's a Stonewall penalty, is the fact of the ball's going away from goal in the way that Totti hasn't got control of the ball, and he's sort of already on, like Finn's alluded to, he's almost sort of already falling. We've had worse decisions against us. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like, what I don't like about this rule with VAR is all this clear and obvious, because what is clear and obvious? Like, people have got different perceptions of what a clear penalty is versus what isn't a clear penalty. And as soon as the referee doesn't give it, I didn't think he was ever going to overturn it. And the balance of it is the contact. Yeah. It's one of those, like, if it was given a penalty, it's never getting overturned, by the way. And as a Wolves fan, I want it to be, I want it to, I think it possibly is a penalty, but I don't want to sound like I'm being biased or anything. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand the fact of, I don't think it's a stone wall as people are making out online, in my opinion. But I'm gutted we didn't get it. And the reality is, and what we've got to be fortunate about and lucky about, is that it didn't affect the result. Like you say, if it ended at 1-1, we'd be screaming from it, myself included, because, again, if that's Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Man United, they're getting that penalty. So whether you like it or not. So, yeah, like I say, at least it is a talking point, but it didn't ruin the 3 points or the rest of the game or performance. So I think we should move on.
I know you say about Totti, like, not being able to get to the ball, but he gets to the ball before the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper. Totti's
like he hasn't got control of the ball. Like he's literally never getting.
Yeah, but that was the same for fucking 90 minutes, so it doesn't make sense.
But you know what I mean, though. He's never getting. So if he'd have just, like, knocked it around Raya and he's about to put the ball in the back of the net or put across, it's a penalty. But
I don't think that matters. Like, he's got there before the keeper. He's nicked it away. I know it's a heavy touch, but he's nicked it away from him. He's wiped him out. Like, I just don't see why.
It was a bit. Was it Dele Alli that had the one the start of last season? It probably was a little bit more of a stonewall of that one, but he wasn't going near the goal. He was wide as well, and Sarr.
Against Sarr.
So,
The only thing I thought, and again, it was very similar to what you were saying, Jord. Like, the ground, I was surprised it wasn't given, especially Finn. Like you said, the ref was going to blow the whistle, and I think what he probably thought is if this gets given, no chance it gets overturned by VAR. I think the bad touch from Totti sort of makes me think, he never had the control. But then at the same time, if that was wide, for argument's sake, and Totti takes a big touch and it goes out for a throw-in and then gets taken out, it'll be given as a free kick. You would have a free kick anywhere else on the pitch, I think, for that incident. So that's why part of me thinks it's a foul. But like you boys have already said, I think if we hadn't have won the game, I would have been very, very upset with that, and I'm sure there would have been more outrage. But thankfully, we got the 3 points, and we can sort of be brushed over.
Definitely.
I think on Ref Watch, by the way, on Sky, he said it was a penalty. Dermot
Yeah,
Gallagher.
did Dermot Gallagher,
Gallagher,
did you?
Dermot O'Query. Was that the segment on Talksport, wasn't it?
Talksport, yeah.
On the sports bar, Dermot
Yeah,
O'Query.
it was at like midnight, wasn't it? I remember
John.
in lockdown.
Yeah. The sports bar with Goldstein and Cuddy used to be so
Oh,
fun.
mate.
Has anybody
Those are the
seen?
days.
Has anybody seen Thomas Frank? But Jamie O'Hara does it now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sometimes like Carlton Cole, it's crap now.
Him and Cundy are all right together, to be fair, but he will never beat the lockdown nights of Goldstein and Cundy were just.
Because then Goldstein, I really like him with Darren Bent on Drive.
Yeah, me
Drive,
too.
But when he's on Drive, he can't be as like. He can't
Nah,
wind
You can
people up
stop
as
it,
much,
yeah.
can
He stops himself on it, yeah, on a few.
Yeah. Whereas the sports bar used to be brilliant. But has anybody
There
seen?
was a few weeks in lockdown where it was what was the guy that rang up saying he kept
Clockwing.
to try and get around like the sort of like watershed almost.
Yeah.
What was it where he rang up and he was like, "Oh, I'm buying some chickens this week, and my wife wants a cock," and then they're like bursting out laughing. Like, "Oh, we're having a new door. I want a handle, but my wife wants a knob," and all. It's super radio.
Oh, they are. That Goldstein was funny on Soccer AM though. But yeah,
He was, yeah.
anyway, yeah, he was.
He won't be able to just stop oil, will he? He won't. He was big on snooker, wasn't he? Initially, Goldstein.
Yeah, massive on snooker.
He'll be fuming today.
Yeah, with the protests. But second goal, lads, I felt like it came at a really good time. What was it? 68 minutes.
69.
60. Whee.
Pleasure, though.
Pleasure, Dome.
I see him every week.
Wanky Chan 60.
Who is the infamous Pleasure Dome?
He lives. He gets the bus from Compton, right opposite where I work, and I see him every Saturday when there's a home game. So he must live round that sort of neck of the woods.
What does Pleasure Dome? What does it like? What does it mean? Like,
the number is all right. Define Pleasure Dome.
I don't think we need the number explaining, do we?
Yeah.
It might be just something innocent. For anyone who doesn't know, he's a Wolves fan. He has Pleasure Dome 69 on his back.
A way to refer to sex for those times when you don't want to say I was having sex. Okay, not to worry. Hey, I saw you called this afternoon. I called you right back. Sorry, I was in the Pleasure Dome.
This sounds like, is that Urban Dictionary?
Yeah.
Sounds exactly like that.
What does it mean?
A nice way to explain to others that you were getting it on.
So
I tried to return your call this afternoon, but you didn't answer. Sorry, I was in the Pleasure Dome all afternoon. High five.
So it's a bit of an innuendo, a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. It's probably a bit like Afternoon Delight, isn't it?
Is that like Angel Delight?
No, it's like it's off Anchor, isn't it? And Afternoon Delight.
Yeah. So is it essentially like having intercourse 69 on your back?
Exactly that. Yeah.
A more polite way of
Secret intercourse 69 in it.
Very strange. Imagine being the person at the club shop printing that shirt for a man in his 60s. Probably originally from Bilston.
Can we get a check on whether he's bald or not?
Date of birth, Bilston, Wolverhampton.
Yeah, checking hair follicles. But the second goal, before we move on to the Leicester game, the second goal, Hwang is obviously his name's going to go down on the score sheet, but that run from Mateus, tell you what, that's what I paid the money for him. That's what we've been waiting for.
He was robbed an assist really as well, wasn't he? Because all that hard work. I thought he's fantastic again on Saturday. Like I don't know if you saw earlier, Wolves uploaded his heat map as well. Like the ground he covered was phenomenal. Thought defensively he was much better as well. But yeah, great work on the right hand side, and Hwang as well, right place, right time. I think he at the moment is a great player to bring on as an impact sub. Same with Matinho. Matinho, if you bring on 15, 20 minutes, he'll just run. He'll just run his socks off. The pressure that he puts on, and when you're like trying to close out a game, it's sound. And Hwang was a good player to bring on, and again, just seems to be whenever he gets minutes at the moment, seems to be the right place at the right time.
Jord, fancy an apology to Hwang?
I apologise the other week. I think
I owe him one as well. To be fair.
Yeah, no, I think he's since the World Cup, and again he's had injuries, but he's been one of our best players since that World Cup, and Lopetegui really likes him. I think. I think he fits the system really well. I think he's unfortunate not to be starting at the moment, but there'll be time for that. The one thing that we have got now that we've not had since we've been in the Premier League is depth. And again, looking at that bench alongside Wang, looking at the bench for Brentford, it's scary compared to that first game of the season against Leeds. The bench there versus what it is now, it's unbelievable in terms of depth. So yeah, and again, I'm really happy for Wang. I hope he carries on scoring and keeps proving everyone wrong from the start of the season, myself included.
Talk about the World Cup there, and if you're on Twitter, you won't have missed this. Just looking at the pre and post World Cup table, so Wolves were played 16 games and were bottom with 10 points, and post World Cup they've played they played 15 games, 24 points, and are actually sixth since the World Cup, since after the World Cup. So I think it's, although on the surface I feel like we've not played that well. I feel like that's a bit of a false position, but Finn, it kind of reinforces the turnaround and the job that Lopetegui's done. Yes, it's not been pretty. Yes, we've had to grind results out. Yes, there's been poor performances, but you know, he's obviously the right man for the job.
Definitely, I think it's gone underrated in the wider. I've noticed today, just because I've been planning my FPL free hit, and everyone's going Leicester players. Oh, they got Wolves at home. Wolves at home. That's a good fixture, and it's coincided with that same day of seeing that table of us sixth since the World Cup, so effectively since Lopetegui came in, and it hasn't been appreciated in a wider sense. But I also don't think. I think I saw someone tweet saying that if you'd have said, right, at the World Cup, Lopetegui's got to come in and get Wolves to sixth in the form table, you'd have gone, no chance. That'd be unbelievable if he does that. And yet, a week ago, we were going, there's the debate of would you sack him and get Graham Potter? So I don't think anyone in any of these big spheres, small spheres, has appreciated it enough, and seen things like that has really put it into perspective. Great job. And as you say, it doesn't feel like we've been at our best. It feels like there's another gear, another 2, another 3 gears to go into. So very, very promising.
I take it you boys have seen that table.
Yeah. I just took it as that we need to renew our passports for next season, I think. So
I agree.
No, I think it's testament to Lopetegui and the job he's been doing, and it was absolutely ludicrous the other week when people were saying get rid of him. I couldn't believe it. I mean, Wolves Twitter at the best of times is batshit, but I saw some takes that day and I was like, what the fuck's going on? He's been brilliant, and like I said, we've had some indifferent performances, and that's going to happen with bedding in new players, new systems. I still, even after back-to-back wins, I still don't think he knows his best 11. Truthfully,
no,
but
right.
we are getting there, and I think that, you know, to be sixth in the form table where you don't feel you're playing that well, ahead of people like, we were ahead of Newcastle,
Brighton,
Brentford,
Liverpool,
Brighton as well. It's like mad, isn't it? When you think about like how Brighton's season's been going, like we've got more points than them since in the last sort of 15 games. It's nuts. So more, credit to Lopetegui, and again, like I say, hopefully this time next season we'll be in the top 6, top 7 again, like we were that previous season of Nuno. Fingers crossed, anyway.
I think if we'd have had it from the start, we probably would be, because of how tight the league is, we probably would be top half, 7th, 8th. Yeah, we might. I don't think we'll be vying for Europe, but we'd probably be in the conversation with this running to go. Because like even I've said in our group chat when we've been playing, like this is absolutely awful. This is dog shit. But
yeah,
like you say, Jord, we're in a dog fight. It's not going to just click his fingers, and we're going to be playing wonderful, expansive football like the squad was and seems to be getting it back, but was devoid of confidence, and he seems to be instilling that back into them. Were you going to say something, Finn?
I was just looking back at the results that sort of led to those conversations. And to be fair, we were dreadful against Forest, dreadful against Leeds. I think it's 1 win in 7 before these 2 wins. So obviously, conversation. I mean, it was a little bit too far, but those things we're going to start to remember because we were terrible in those few games. But no, yeah, it's teething problems, isn't it? I think the main thing was at this point we were questioning. I remember on the podcast questioning the fight, weren't we? We were saying you're looking at teams like Everton, maybe with that more classic British side of things, going, oh, they'll have the fight to get out. Whereas, we weren't looking like that. But the last 2 games, it's been, I think it's that midfield being revolutionised that's giving you that belief in that sense. And Leeds are also losing now, so we are well and truly staying up, everybody.
Get in there. If Liverpool want to go on and win this 3-2, that would be fantastic. I don't know if anyone's on TikTok. If anyone's on TikTok, I saw, and you probably would have seen it, some bloke had predicted, I think, like 5 Premier League results on Thursday. All 4 have come in. So I've put a cheeky bet on, and he said Liverpool 3-2, so I've put a bet on. So we shall see. We shall see. Just before we go on to talk about the winning Betmate pot and Leicester versus Wolves and your questions, Dave, just finally come to you, mate. Collins and Kilman, I felt, dealt with Ivan Toney very well, but less about Wolves and more about Brentford. If you could sum them up in one word, Brentford's performance on Saturday, what would that be?
To be honest, Matt, Brentford on Saturday were gash. But you also said Collins and Kilman. I thought you
did
meant,
I? Sorry,
I'm
Dawson
sure
and Kilman, yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
What's that? Who made that edit of you, Dave?
I don't know. Someone sent it to me on Instagram. It was.
Yeah, I
it
feel
was
bad.
To be fair.
I'm getting credit
let me
for
get.
it.
Let me.
I didn't
Let me
make
get
it
the kids'
clear.
name. To be fair,
Yeah,
I can't remember.
superb
I think he said it on the Talking Walls one.
I'd say I've watched it at least 100 times this weekend.
Mate, when you tweeted it, I just kept Elliot Jones.
Jones.
Even he said he rushed it. So Elliot, if you want to spend another hour or so on a new edit, feel free. Man,
You noticed as well, Dave, how expression. I don't know how much your eyebrows move, basically. Like when you're like emphasizing things, you're like,
good on the remember the Cadbury's advert back in the day.
Yeah. There's like 4 in a row where your eyebrows are going like bang, bang, bang on the beat.
What's this? Is this the video?
So this is can you hear this?
Brentford.
Yeah.
You can. Okay, so this is the video in question. Unfortunately, so if you're watching this you're listening to this app on Spotify, you can only listen to it. But what do they call these edits?
Well, I thought they were called.
People were replying to it, saying what they were.
Like Dave
fan cam. Fan cam, yeah, I've never heard of
that. I thought they were
that.
called thirst traps.
Someone said, "Babe, wake up! Dave has a party. Fan cams."
Fan cam.
So this is it for those who are interested. Sorry, I'm not accepting cookies. I'm not logged in.
Brentford will push for top 10. I think they'll be a decent team.
Nah,
this
Brentford
season.
are gash, man. You know the best bit of that video, and it's the underrated bit, is when Tom goes top 10 and
Finn goes, "Juice." Pull up.
Brentford will push for top 10. I think they'll be a decent team.
Nah,
this
Brentford
season.
are gash, man.
Oh, it's absolutely superb. Whoever sent that, what was his name again, Dave? Sorry.
Elliot Jones. He must listen to the.
Elliot,
to the
mate,
pod.
absolutely fantastic. If you want to clip Jord up talking about Hwang's first touch,
Yeah. There we go.
Then be my guest. I'll dig the podcast episode out for you.
No, George's statement following Bruno's sacking was the best. It was just absolutely.
What about Socrates?
Yeah.
Wouldn't even get a gig at Socrates.
Yeah, something there. It was just kick a man while he's down. It was super.
Oh, it's absolutely superb. But Wolves weren't the only winner at the weekend, because the Betmate pot was the 3-pot, £100 share, and it was a Talking Wolves exclusive. Big thanks to the 103 who joined us. A massive turnout. So big thanks to everyone who joined. But Finn Morris, could you please inform us who came top with 51.5 points?
Well, I saved my big win for the big pots, coming home with my £11. It was me, and it was me that, again, I think every time I've come in the top 3-5, it's been when I forgot to change my team, like that Sarabia one at Fulham, when I'd left him.
Noticed that you captain Hwang.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, I did that. I don't know why I did that. I think it's because he looked all right in the last game, and I thought he'd start. Forgot to change it, and obviously, yeah, I know. Yeah, I forgot to change it. I can't remember what my team was. Did I have Nunes Vice as well? And FPL didn't give Nunes the assist, but I think
I don't think Betmate did either.
Betmate. Oh, did they not either? Maybe just got a lot of interceptions then. But yeah, I went with It's sort of. I think
it might have maybe. You had 10.5. You had
everything that
Royer in goal, Totti, Semedo, João Gomez, Nunes, Vice, Hwang captain, and Diego Costa as well. So very few people would have had Costa, I think, starting as well.
Yeah,
so everyone had Tony and someone, didn't they?
Exactly, but I think when you gave that sort of goalkeeper advice, Dave, I thought Wolves would score, and I didn't really back any of those. You normally go for a full team, but then a Brentford midfielder, don't you, in that sort of situation, or a forward. That I remember Jord going with the forward tactic and that working, but I know that Raya gets a lot of save points on Fantasy Premier League, so I thought if I can fill it out with Wolves and get the save points, which worked out quite well because we had a lot of shots at him. So I'll try and replicate that from now on. But yeah, thanks to everyone that's educated me along the way. If I'm doing a little speech, George, was it the Red Men that said about putting captaining keepers? Yeah,
Keeper,
I didn't do that, but yeah, I'm appreciating keepers more now. So we're all learning together. It's a journey, and
A bit deep, man.
Yeah, it's not about the destination; it's about the journey, mate.
Yeah. So true.
But the destination is Europe next season. Right then, moving on to Wolves' next fixture, which is at the King Power Stadium on Saturday. Leicester versus Wolves. Leicester, Jord struggling. Dean Smith back in charge, which I didn't think was a bad appointment. Can you believe the last time Leicester won a game was over 2 months ago? 11th of February, the 4-1 against Spurs. That feels like last season. It's still going to be a tough game, though, isn't it? I watched them against City. They came on strong in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Maddison, just unbelievable footballer. Keeping quiet. I think you have a chance of winning it.
Yeah, they're completely devoid of confidence at the minute. I think it's if you can score early, I think we can steamroll them. And I know that sounds stupid and very naive, but I think you need to try and get an early goal, quieten the crowd, and take it from there. Really, like I say, Maddison's an exceptional footballer, but like when I've met him in the summer, an absolute cock. So I'm glad he's going to get fucking relegated.
Is he actually, Joe?
He's an absolute bellend, mate.
Is he? On like Monday Night Football, he always comes across quite nice. Like he was always like a favourite there. It's like Cody almost, wasn't it? Where he gives it.
No, I think he comes across a bit of a cock. To be fair,
he's an arrogant bellend. He's a bellend.
It's a shame.
He was a twat anyway. So, but you know what? He'll get a move anyway, won't he? And he's a good footballer. Whether he's an arrogant tosser, he's a good footballer. I think a big miss for them as well is Harvey Barnes, and a footballer I really like. Someone that I think that if they go down, I wouldn't be disappointed if we went and poached him. To be honest with you, I think he's
Albion.
No, can't have Dawson.
Only for like 4 months. So
he always does the old. In front of Southend, is it?
But good footballer. No, I think, like I say, they are still I still think they are a good team, which is crazy to say. They've got some good individual players. I think their defence is absolutely pony, though. If they've got, playing a Martin, that sideshow Bob at the back as well.
Is Harry Souttar not playing, or is he injured?
Yeah,
he's been playing as well. He played against Stingy, though, didn't he? Man,
12'2", don't he? He's a tank.
I follow a few Leicester City fans, and we don't like to speculate, but I found it quite funny. The rumour going around at Leicester is that Soinchi wasn't played by Rodgers because he was shagging Rodgers' missus.
Oh my god! It sounds like Ryan Bennett.
It's. But even with Harvey Barnes, though, you talk about poaching him in the summer, Jord, but when he was at West Brom, he went through that fan base like as Derek Chisora would say, like them pillows you pop. I'm gonna go through this guy. He had a lot of fun at West Brom.
So you're saying that if we signed him, he would rival Leo Bonatini around Techno Pool?
I think he'd been slugging lettuce with Cavallero.
No, basically, if you sign Harvey Barnes, you go to the club shop, say, "Can I have a Harvey Barnes shirt?" They'd give you Pleasure Dome 69.
Yeah, they'd give you a Pleasure Dome. Barnes 69. Oh, it's 44 minutes in. We've had enough.
Yeah, but Maddison can pull that off. That Harvey Barnes doesn't have that sort of face, does he? Doesn't like Bonatini go.
Yeah. No, because I think Maddison's like, he's slightly balding. He's quite skinny, isn't he?
That's sad because one of my friends had a hairline like James Maddison the other day.
You have.
I was like, I think he said I look like him. To be fair, and he went, yeah, in the hair. I was like, no, thanks, no.
The big question on everyone's lips is, does Ruben Neves come back into the team? Dave, you asked the question in our chat on Saturday, and I said that's the easiest question I'll ever have to answer this weekend. and that's a no. How can you bring him back in with how he played the last 2 games?
Captain
I know he's a
Channel.
club legend. I know he's a captain. I know it.
I think he's mature enough to understand if he doesn't start on Saturday. That I think he knows why. You know, he should be mature enough to understand. And I think that's the same with. And I think by now, internally at the club, especially Lopetegui, will have a pretty good idea of whether he's going to sign a new contract or not. And I think if the club are adamant that he's not going to sign a new deal, he should start on the bench on Saturday, because the midfield that's been playing the last 2 games is more than likely going to be there next season. I don't know. You got to work for your place, you know. Suspensions, bookings are part and parcel of the game. But when a team, you know, it's a team sport. When your team is playing as well as they are, you've got to understand. So, yeah. And I think we've just looked a lot more fluid. I think Neves is a phenomenal footballer, but I think it completely changes the way that we play, and possibly, as bad as it sounds, restricts us going forward sometimes. So I don't know. I'd start again, probably unchanged. If it was me, but
if Lopetegui, the thing is, Lopetegui, if he changes it and brings Neves in and we lose, it's everyone's going to point the finger at him. If he keeps it as it is and we lose, then no one's going to be on his back.
Who does he drop as well? Because unless he goes really cautious because he's away, and I don't think he should, you'd probably drop Cunha or Costa. But both of them in the last couple of weeks have been good as well.
You can't change it.
No, you can't change it.
You can't. You can't. As much as I love him, and he's such a wonderful, wonderful footballer, we've finally got a bit of consistency. Continuity. Thank you, Jord. In the 11, I know obviously Sarabia coming for Podence, but it's almost like for like Sarabia's a better player for me. But we seem to be gelling, and you can see those even over two games, those patterns of play, those kind of moves that they're that you repetitively keep doing, and some of them are coming off. I think why would you change that? I know he's your captain, but if he goes unchanged and we lose to Leicester, then yeah, he comes in. But for me, if he comes in and we lose, it's on Lopetegui for me. I don't know how you feel, Finn.
Yeah, I said earlier that I think I'd put him back in. Now thinking about it, I know we were going to come on to it, and thinking about who I would then name to take out. That's when you then start questioning the decision to put him back in, because no one deserves to drop out. Yeah, I think Dave's point's interesting as well. I think that makes sense, as in with the contract thing, because we're almost saying, we've got to keep him happy. He's the captain, almost he should get back in, but it shouldn't be for those reasons, and especially it shouldn't be for those reasons if he's not going to be here next season. It's strange because those games before, you'd have said Neves was the only hope in those games. He was the only player that was putting in decent performances, playing those signature passes, and we had nothing else. Yet you take him out. It's a strange when you take him out, and we look so much better. So I'll be happy either way with whatever they do. But Lamine has been a mainstay. So Gomez looks the most vulnerable, yet he's been unbelievable those 2 games. So with what I said earlier, now if you press me to say a name to take him out, I'd really, really struggle. It can't be Nunes, can it? If he's got to play that sort of versatile role, so it's one of the other 2, and I wouldn't be able to pick one.
Got to go unchanged. Got to go unchanged. But then, do you look at it from a point of view where if you're losing or it's 0-0 and you want to try and get back in the game, bringing Neves on probably isn't going to do that. He's maybe, but then there's also the point of, okay, you bring him on to shore things up, because then you can slow the tempo down.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Let's be honest about it. I know we've won back-to-back games, but if we go to the King Power and get a point, that's still a good result in the grand scheme of the league and where we are. For me, I think if you get Neves back in, I think it just sends the wrong message out to the rest of the squad, and I mean that in terms of a way of this again's not taking anything away from him as a footballer, but you don't. For me, you shouldn't change a winning side, and the key things about these last 2 victories have been the spine of that team. Even with, again, I've not been his biggest fan. I'm not Kilman. I think Kilman and Dawson have been flawless the last 2 games as well. I think they all the spine of that team, and I'll go with Cunha and Costa as well. You can't change that for me. And I feel like if you just try and shoehorn Neves in, which sounds crazy to say shoehorn him in, you lose that little bit of energy and dynamism, because that is the one thing that stops him. I think that's the only thing that stops him already playing at a Man City or one of these like unbelievable clubs. I think that's his only negative against him. So, yeah, for me, you just got to put. He's got to start. You know, he's a mature guy. I think you take it on the chin. I think you put him on the bench, and if we need to get him, imagine having Ruben Neves off the bench. You know what I mean? For a team that's struggling with relegation, it's mad. Or has been struggling with relegation.
A good example, and possibly an indication of what Lopetegui might do, is the Totti Gomez situation. Because Gomez came in just as a filler, because obviously Ain't Nori, whatever was happening, and Bueno was injured. He's played well. Bueno's been available to come back into the team, and Totti's kept his place. And he's not a conventional left back. He's almost been shoehorned in, but had 3 good performances and kept his place. So you would hope, especially with the way where we are now, we're still desperate for points. I know safety's not quite confirmed, but you just got to go with confidence is high, morale is high, and I think you just carry on with what's going on. Neves is obviously going to play for Wolves again. He's going to get minutes again, but for this particular game, I think you stick with this current squad. And I think Matt, you used a good phrase on the fans react. I think you said something about the midfield almost suffocating teams. And I think against Leeds, you stick with that. And I think because that's where their quality is in the midfield. And Leicester, sorry. Same thing. So, and I think players like Maddison, as good as he is, I've seen him drop a couple of clangers this season as well. When he's pressed, some of his decision making is awful. Was it a week or so ago they lost to somebody?
Bournemouth
passed it straight to the back of the player. Yeah, and I've seen him do it a couple of times this season. So I think he's a player that's got a clanger in there. And I think if you've got players that are pressing him, and it's not just Lemina and João Gomez, Nunes, Cunha, even Costa comes deep to press sometimes. It's just a really good collective effort from the team. So be interesting either way. Be intriguing at 2:00 on Saturday.
Yeah, you mentioned there about Leeds whilst we were talking about them. That handball that they've for their goal. It's absolutely wonderful. It's fantastic officiating. Whether it is, give them a rise.
I haven't seen it. I'll have a look now.
No, but
by the letter of the law, it's VAR can't overrule it.
But why not?
Because he's not the direct assist.
Yeah, but is that the rule?
Yeah, for a handball. For a handball for a goal to be overturned for handball, it's got to be the goal scorer or the person that got the assist to have handballed it.
Fucking hell!
If there's a pass before that, they changed it. I think at the start of this season.
Yeah,
he threw the ball to the assister, but the ref didn't see it. So
Trent's handballed it, passed it off to someone. Someone's passed it back to Trent.
But it's not. And I mean, everyone's going to have seen this by the time this comes out, so we can't analyze. But it's not as if it's one where he's like, "Oh, it's accidentally hit him on the arm."
Yeah,
he's played it with it.
That's done a little volleyball dig. Yeah.
I've just seen it now, and you know what? It's a fantastic decision.
Yeah, but George, you couldn't have been put it more right, could you? Earlier on, you said, "Oh, Liverpool."
Like that in his front room.
Done the Paul Tierney with the whistle.
Absolutely super.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
what is the point? Why are we even saying top 6? We're not going to do it. Those are the decisions, and it's a conspiracy. And
VAR
very top.
Liverpool.
Can't get in there. Just fixed. Why do we bother? Anyway,
why do we bother? But we do bother with Betmate, and it's back with a vengeance this weekend in the Prem Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs. It's £3 in for your chance to win a share of £300. Quite a few games actually, 3 p.m. So a mix of teams. You can only pick 2 players from the same team for this because of the multiple games in there. Gents, would you like to talk me through your teams? I'll start with you, Dave. Who have you picked, and are you going to do us proud and finish first like Finn did last week?
I hope so. I've gone with Alisson in goal. They're at home to Forest, Liverpool, so I'm fairly confident that he'll, he should get a clean sheet, you'd hope anyway. Back to, I've gone with Mitchell from Palace. They're up against Everton, which will be an interesting game, but at home, and Trent as well. Again, at home to Forest. Midfield 2, Jacob Ramsey of Villa. For now, I've actually gone with him as captain because his average points over the last few weeks have been phenomenal. So I've kept him as captain, although he's away at Brentford. So that's one thing I'm a little bit cautious of. And Mario Lemina in midfield. Again, I think away from home performance in terms of interceptions and tackles might be a little bit higher than the last couple of weeks, but still consistently getting a decent amount of points. And then Ollie Watkins up front, who just doesn't seem to stop scoring. He's like a brand new player under Unai Emery. And Michael Elise, again, at home against Everton, vice captain for me. Just again, his average of points, very, very good. So obviously all subject to change, but yeah, interesting set of fixtures on Saturday.
I think Matheus Nunes is on holiday again.
I think they must get given a couple of days off after a match, especially maybe if it's home, they can just get straight off.
Yeah. Anyway, Jord, you want to talk through your Betmate team, mate?
So
you know what? We see our attitude. Sorry, Jord, our attitudes change when you're winning games. When they're losing games, okay, he's always
no. My issue was with Lodge last year was when
no one trained.
We were like 8 games without a win, and it was like a Wednesday, and they were abroad. Like when you got a match in 2 or 3 days, like a Sunday, Monday, I ain't too bothered about. But we move.
Yeah. If Matheus Nunes wants some Mr. Whippy ice cream, let him have one. Yeah. That's what I'll say. So my team, I've got Sam Johnson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and your boy Ethan Pinnock at the back. I've got Eze, and I've vice captained Mateusz, and I've got a captain of Mohamed Salah at home to Forest and Ivan Toney to compliment him up front.
What do you think he's going to say to compliment him?
You've got fantastic hair and skin.
Yeah,
face features.
Hopefully that should open and get a few goals. Finn, talk us through your team, mate, and is it going to be 2 on the bounce?
I'm not too sure with this one. These ones are always a bit more of a gamble, aren't they? I've gone Sam Johnson in goal. None of the games really look clean sheet friendly, do they? So let's hope he gets a few saves in at the very least. I've gone Trent as well, who seems to get given assists no matter what he's done in the build-up. So that looks surefire for points. I've gone Totti as well, just because he's averaging a decent amount of points just with the interceptions and tackles, and obviously an assist, kind of assist at the weekend. I don't know that he got given that. I've then got João Gomez if he does start, so I'll remember to actually look at my team this time in case Neves does come in for him. I've gone Jacob Ramsey as my vice captain. I know it's a Villa player, but his average points, when I was looking, it was like 10, 11, 13, 10. It was ridiculous. So I've gone with him in there. And then Elise I've gone with as well. I know he's down as a forward. I'm not sure about that one. It's just because I was looking at him in my FPL. And then captain Mohamed Salah because Forest away are terrible. So yeah, the Trent and Salah double will probably be a common one, but I don't want to miss out on those points. And then I've got Dendoncker on the bench just for spirit, because get a bit of walk in there.
For vibes.
Yeah. Got a full head of hair now, hasn't he, Dendoncker? So
never trust a bloke who voluntarily shaves all his hair off. It's like Ashley Young when he was pictured with like full head of hair. I'm like, hold on a second, you do that. You did that voluntarily
this year. So that makes sense.
Makes them more aerodynamic.
That was him. Was it Paul Turney on Saturday?
Yeah, he's got rid of it. Yeah, never trust him.
It's gone for the old Jason Bourne. Yeah.
Finn will be having to do that in about 6 months if he carries on.
James Maddison, yeah. Wasn't it James Maddison that attacked Jeremy Clarkson for his hair or whatever? And I was like, ooh. Because there was that viral tweet one where he said, you've only got a few haircuts left. And I thought, oh, God, no. So have you. That's going to come back to bite you. But nice beard.
I'm me wearing an headband. I've gone with Sam Johnson in goal. Palace are flying. Everton are crap. Alexander-Arnold, vice captain, and Totti Gomez.
Big up.
I'm not really sure why I picked Totti, because
funny.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be a laugh, so I put him in there. I put Eze in the midfield of Jacob Ramsey. Dynamism. I've got Mo Salah up top and captain Ollie Watkins. I'd imagine most people will be captaining Ollie Watkins. He's in such a rich vein of form, isn't he? But hopefully, come May the 6th, he's already on his holidays and got his feet up, because that game could be very interesting. But there's also another game, including Wolves versus Leicester, and that is the goal scorer game. So essentially, what you need to do is pick anytime goal scorers for the Prem Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs. It's £3 in for your chance to win a share, £300, similar to the fantasy game. And the person with the most correct guesses wins. So that's the goal scorer, £3 in for £300. And all you need to do is pick anytime goal scorers. Of course, with all that, please gamble aware. Right then, chaps, let's move on to the questions. So thanks for those who sent in those questions on Twitter. Andy Willis has asked, though, thought Costa showed us a masterclass of centre forward play on Saturday. If this is now he's finding his match fitness, do you think it's worth a punt offering him a 12-month contract extension? Nearly slipped up then. Late machine out. What do you call him?
Like I said earlier, I think I can understand why people would, but I think I suppose it just depends on the clubs. I don't know. I think I need to see a couple more decent performances from him.
How many goals does he need to score between now and the end of the
Not
season
even necessarily
to
goals.
contract?
Not even necessarily goals, because I thought his link-up play, regardless of his goal, was good as well. But I would be concerned next season, very, very concerned, if he stays at the club and he's high in the pecking order. Because for me, even if he stays, he's got to be at least third choice striker next year.
Jord, I'm not going to ask you the question. What I am going to ask you is, should it be a 3 or a 4-year deal?
When should we put the statue up?
Yeah.
I think I echo Dave's thoughts. I think it's very short-termism to say we should give him another deal. However, if Fabio doesn't stick around, Raul doesn't stick around, I'm not against giving him another 12 months. I feel like it depends if he's part of the longer term strategy, and only Lopetegui and the staff know that. So
I think, like you said, if they know already Fabio's situation, you would assume Jimenez is going to go. Fabio also leaves on loan. If you're going to keep Kalajdzic and maybe Costa, I think regardless this summer, I think you need to sign a proper striker anyway. We have a striker, Kalajdzic and Costa are 3 half decent options. Then I would say,
agree.
Finn, new contract.
Yeah, I'd probably say 4 to answer your earlier question.
With an option of another further 2 years.
I think so. You've got to cover yourself, haven't you? So
yeah. Because someone else might come in for him, like, I don't know, City.
Yeah. To be fair, Chelsea might. With how stupid they're changing.
Yeah, but you could probably get about 40 million for him.
It's like me, on Football Manager Day, but it's like the fans have a great affinity towards this player or whatever. It's but he'll go Todd Bowley and go, get him in 20 million.
Coach is right, guys. Kieran G09 has asked, with his time at the club looking like it's coming to an end, would you consider Raul a Wolves legend? Finn is exempt from this, Tron. But Dave, is Raul Jimenez a Wolves legend?
Legend is very, very, well, it is too strong of a word. I think we all use it and band it about. Like, I think if Jimenez joins somebody and scores a banger next season, I'll probably quote and say, oh, what a legend. But I think in terms of an actual Wolves legend, you compare him with the likes of Steve Bull, Billy Wright, whatever, then no chance. But he'll always be a club favourite for me, because he's the amount of goals he scored, the quality of goals he scored, to put us at the highest point that we've been for many, many years. You don't lose that. So, and I think obviously with the whole injury situation, then he'll go down as a club favourite. I think legend, like I said, is a bit too strong of a word.
Interesting to hear George's thoughts on this.
I think cult hero might be.
That's the right phrase, yeah.
He probably, well, actually no, there's no probably about it. He's the best centre forward we've had in all our lifetimes. I know you think I'm about 40 years older than you lot, but I got the end. I got the tail end of Steve Bull. So
is he better than Dugan, George?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Maybe, possibly. Yeah, Kenny Hibbett and all them lot. Nah. No, I think cult hero. I think if, again, barring the injury, you could have gone on to legendary status. The goals to game ratio. It's sad to see what's happened, and I don't really necessarily think he's helped himself either. Agreed. With the World Cup stuff. Some of the social media stuff drives me bananas with him, and like the sort of indirect stuff from his missus and stuff. Like, just don't need to do that sort of stuff. I think it riles people the wrong way, and that isn't his fault. But yeah, for me, I think he would have been a legend bar the injury, but I will go with cult hero.
Notable alumni.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the Derek Dugan thing earlier. Years ago, I'm probably talking like BBM days, man. I'm sure I saw a video on You know, when every now and then you got someone walking down the street and some randomer starts talking to them, and for some reason they're recording the conversation. There's someone talking about Stephen Fletcher when he played for Wolves, and there's this proper common guy, and he goes, "That Fletcher, he's the best header of the ball we've had since Andy Gray." And I don't know why, he always stuck with the whole conversation. He's like proper Yadar.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was absolutely brilliant. But when you were bringing up all them players, it reminded me of that.
He was good though, Fletcher in the air.
Yeah.
But even Fletcher, Jimenez
Fletcher was volley, man.
Yeah, he's so good.
Fletcher was class.
Head's gone.
He was. Wolves lad Tom has asked, do we cash in on Silva with his stock high at PSV or bring him back and get him up top for us? I think the question is, who buys him? And they're not going to be paying 35 million.
You're not getting your money back, nah. You might get 20, 25 at the moment, but nah, you're not getting your money back. I saw there was PSV are desperate to keep him next year, but they know they wouldn't be able to afford him. So I don't know. And I think it'd be crazy for a Dutch side to be, because I'd assume without looking, that's probably close to, or if not beating their record. So I don't know. I think he probably needs another season performing at that level. He's still very, very young, obviously, but I don't know. It's a difficult one. I'd love to see him come back to Wolves in England, but I think he's just going to want to be playing football. But I think if Kalajdzic comes back and he's fit, then those two competing may not be too bad, but who knows?
What do you reckon, lads?
I don't know. I was talking about this on the train. I think from PSV, you're going to probably get about half the money back, aren't you? So then if they were to offer a permanent, because you can't loan him out again next season. I don't think that makes sense either way.
I think that's what he wants, though. They'd have to extend his contract again, though, wouldn't they?
Yeah. But does he start every game? Like, does he? Like, I saw the other day he came on for 15. Like, if he's complaining that he never started every game at Wolves, and it's the same as like the Morgan Gibbs-White thing. He probably hasn't been treated the best, and then you see the recent interviews saying that he never necessarily wanted to come in the first place at the time that he did, and it probably didn't work best for his career. But yeah, you're going to get max half the money probably from a bid, and I just want to see him succeed. So I think I'd like to keep him, but yeah, it's whether he'd want to do that. And I wouldn't blame him if he didn't, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Next question is from Lendog. Would you be okay with letting go of Ryan Aitnour in the summer? Personally, I'm not fussed anymore, and if he stays, since he clearly isn't up to Lopetegui's standards. I think it'd be a shame, but if the manager doesn't fancy him, then there's no point sticking around, is there?
No.
I don't think he's fancied him from day one, has he really? Because he started off so brightly under Lopetegui and he still struggled to break into the team. And he has had some great performances. And again, it's similar sort of thing to what I've said about Matheus Nunes. Like, you can tell there's a very talented player in there, but you probably don't see quite enough of it. But yeah, I think we don't know what the situation is with the whole sell-on fee that Angers have got. But if Wolves have bought him out of that, I think you can probably get 20 million quid for him. You've got Bueno. You've got Totti, you've got the scope to possibly bring in another left back as well. But, you know, we've heard stuff about his being late and stuff, and we've brought that up on the podcast before. And, you know, for a manager, when at the time when Lopetegui came into us and we were almost like a sinking ship, you could do without crap like that, to be honest. So if he's got off on the wrong foot straight away, Lopetegui might be, and the same with Jimenez. Jimenez, you know, one of the first press conferences Lopetegui had, it sounded like he almost was disrespected with the way that Jimenez treated the club, and he's really struggled to break into the team. So, but you know, obviously bad first impressions, I suppose.
Lopetegui seems to be a stickler for discipline as well, doesn't he?
Do you know? Thing is, I'd be okay with letting him go, as in if I trust Lopetegui to do whatever he wants in the summer, but. Do you not feel like he could be one of those ones? I know we always go Pedro Goncalves, but one of those ones where you would have that in the back of your mind going, oh, this could really bite us on the back of it. Like, I just see him, and I know we've played him as sort of a winger whenever Lopetegui's played him more, but with that revolution of, without sounding a bit too much like Tifo here, this sort of revolution of like Trent's doing right now as we speak, sort of coming into midfield, inverted Zinchenko, and that play I've always gone, always a bit like an Adel Taarabt. I can just see someone like that, bringing him in as a backup. Maybe City's a bit too far on his performances, but someone doing something like that with him, and I think he's got the potential to. But if it's a player that, is turning up late and looks like he's half asleep, like every single player has been saying, if they speak about him, then maybe it's one to trust. And Jota has just broken his 32 games without a goal, so he's not anymore.
It's 3-1 now. I'll tell you what, the 3-2's on.
That bet's coming on. It is. Isn't it?
3-2 he's on.
Yeah, but what stake did you put on, man? Did you
Yo,
put a Finn Morris stake on or what?
So
It's proof what you put on there.
£20.
Oh, fairs? 420 quid return.
So
20 quid, you know.
Cash it out!
I'm sure they're paying you too much.
Cash outs for virgins, mate. Well, how'd you cash out? No, I ain't cashing that out. We'll see. Well, we'll all know, won't we? We'll all know in the morning whether Matt's
sorry for dating this so much.
No, it's fine. That's fine. Next question is from Carl Williams. So he said, how many of the 20 players named on Saturday are still here next season? So I'm going to go through the squad and I want you to decide amongst you if they're going to be here next season. Jose Sarr.
Yeah.
Semedo.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Ooh.
Can we come to a decision, please?
Finn said, ooh. Jord said, maybe not. I said, yeah.
What's the ooh mean, Finn?
I wasn't certain
Yes or no?
it's going to be. Is it if I think they will? Like, if I want them to, or we think like what they're going to do?
What you think?
Wait,
Fucking hell.
my opinion, or
do you think Nelson Semedo will be here come August the 1st?
And he's got 1 year left, 2 years left,
Oh my
1 year
fucking
left.
God.
He's out of contract. He's out of contract in the summer. But Wolves
Yes,
have got an
because he
option
was
to
nice to
continue.
me in the club shop. Fine.
Okay, so he's staying.
There we go.
Craig Dawson,
Yes.
Yeah.
Max Kilman,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totti,
Yes.
Yeah.
Mateus,
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
yes, Joao Gomez,
Yes.
Yeah.
Lamina,
Yes.
Sarabia,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cunha,
Yes.
Yeah.
Costa. Yes,
Mm.
No.
No.
we'll go.
No,
we'll,
I
go
don't
with,
think.
we'll go with yes. Pedro Neto,
Yes.
not on loan somewhere.
I'm unsure.
No, I think he'll stay.
Okay, Hwang Chan,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matinho,
They need him for the summer.
No.
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 Adama Traore,
No.
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 Hugo Bueno,
Yes.
Daniel Pedence.
No.
Nope.
This one's an interesting one. Nathan Collins,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel Bentley.
Yeah. You know what? You reckon Lopetegui will do a Nuno and just bring Daniel Bentley on for the last game against Arsenal?
Yeah.
Play him or bring him
Yeah,
on
it could
half-time
do.
or
Yeah. Could do. Yeah.
Imagine
wanna
that.
go
Like
to
Daniel
Arsenal
Bentley
the
saves a
last day.
last-minute penalty to deny Arsenal the league title. That'd be
You don't
brilliant.
have to save him from Arsenal. They blast
Yeah.
him wide. It's fine.
On the last day would be fantastic. If Wolves are safe, Arsenal need to beat us to be able to be in a shot at the title, but City also need to win, and City are like 4-0 up by half time.
Yeah.
That would just be
I'm not
fantastic.
gonna
We've
be
got
there,
really
though.
lucky, haven't we? As a weight, like seeing Liverpool last season, like there's been a lot of Wolves away days on the last day that have really meant something, and we can just take them in. Like we've never seen someone be happy. It's always just been able to laugh at everyone.
You've
being
nearly
sad.
won the league.
Yeah, literally.
I'll be in the Maldives spending the 20 grand I get for my away. And
Yeah.
ticket, so.
Old Man Pie has asked, what happens with Cody even if Everton stay up? From what we were told, he won't, as long as Everton stay up, he won't be back at Wolves, but I can't see him coming back to Wolves. He's fell out of favour at Everton, but I cannot see for the life of me him coming back to Wolves. It feels like those bridges have been burnt.
No,
Yeah.
I can't see anyway. I think you get a buyer for a similar sort of for the option that Everton had for him anyway. I think you get a buyer regardless.
Yeah.
I
I think he
think.
plays back five anyway.
I
Yeah.
think. I know where he'll end up. If Everton go down, he'll end up at Sheffield United.
If they go up. Oh yeah, that's a good shout to be fair.
Yeah, not bad. We'll have
Ahmed Hodzic.
Enjoy. Is it Enjoy?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Guy,
yeah.
the midfielder, or
Yeah, yeah, well,
Ahmed Hodzic.
We'll have Enjoy instead.
Yeah.
Luke has asked what heat of Nando's has cost to order. I'd probably say extra hot, but what I am going to ask you, gents, is when you get to Nando's, what heat do you have?
Medium.
Medium.
Oh, here we go. Finn's lemon and herb, isn't he?
No, I'm the
He's a zesty guy.
I'm normally hot Nando's, medium at Grill It because I find Grill It a little bit
Grill
hotter
it
on
is.
average.
Grill it is. I agree.
Yeah. However, because I quite like my spice. However, I don't know whether you've been to Nando's recently. Basically, my usual midweek activity is Stafford now in the new bit. There's an Odeon and a Nando's right next to each other. So see the new film, go to the Nando's. And for a couple of weeks, they had this Vuza extra hot, and I backed myself. And my God, like, I think I'll be coming back down to medium for a while just to like it was.
Steam
the
coming
thing
out
is, as well, it was the reason I added the other bit in is that I think I had 7 Coke Zeros because I was just like, oh my God, right, I need to cool down.
7.
And then we went to see John Wick, which was 3 hours and 5 minutes. And
Man
I
was probably
don't
there.
like to go to the toilet. Well, so like I managed to get through it without going to the toilet. But my God, yeah, it was just mistakes all round. It was like leading on, but yeah. And
7 Coke Zeros.
Well, it's free, isn't it? And I was like, oh my, like I needed some milk.
Yeah, but did you order a Coke or did you order it water and get the, you know?
I did it recently where I ordered a water and they bought a big glass out. Result.
Oh,
No, I didn't know if they're listening.
Nice.
It's a long answer.
Medium for me, but I like hot sauce on the side.
Who'd have thought that?
You know, but sorry, very quick then. The issue I have, you know, with an Nando's sauce, as in the sauce you can take to your table, that's pretty decent for like over your chips and whatever. But the grill it sauces are not good, Finn.
No.
Remember we had the grill it sauce is awful, man.
No, yeah, the grill it condiments, they win on the salt. They've got that cool pink salt, haven't they, at grill it on the side.
But the sauces are gash.
Look at them getting another shout again.
Yeah.
We do need a sponsor.
They want to sponsor us, but sorry.
I mean, you just said their sauces are bad.
So, Sean Mitchell has asked red sauce or brown sauce on a fry up. Red sauce for me.
Red.
George's going to say brown.
I think that's a proper old.
I don't like
man
red
thing, to be
sauce.
fair.
Old man.
I don't like red sauce.
My
so
dad
I
has
don't
brown
get
sauce, and you're similar age. So.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Yeah.
Nah.
I don't like red sauce, so it'd have to be brown.
Yeah.
I'm neither. I don't like it. I just sauces, as mentioned before.
The one as well,
No,
Brett. If you have a bacon sandwich or sausage sandwich, do you have it buttered or not?
I
ain't bothered either
Not
way.
usually.
no,
I'm
if I have it
not
buttered, I like it. Look, it's a tiny little bit toasted.
Yeah, agree.
No, I'd go buttered all day. It's probably
That's a
turn up the
northern
sauce.
thing, though. That is, mate.
Oh yeah, that's my mum then.
We get it off your mum.
The butties. Yeah,
Your
the
mum.
barm cakes. Barm cakes are weird one.
Your mum.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Final question is from Matt Jackson, who Dave, you say he's a low manager at Wolves.
Is he actually in there? Who's asked?
He's
The low
called
manager
Matt
at Wolves is actually called Matt Jackson.
Yeah.
I went to school with a Matt Jackson.
Oh, so it's
It's-
probably not in there.
Oh, common
Sorry,
name.
Matt Jackson.
Who?
I am for real. He's asked, what are your favourite 3 bands/singers? Dave's not really into his bands.
But
So
it's all like
I'm going
artist.
to artist. Yeah.
All right.
I'll start with you first. Man.
Elvis Presley,
Nice.
no cap. Probably Santan Dave. Third one's hard because I think they're the only 2 that I would let. Like, Dave, I'm in and out of. To be fair, until he's
Beg
got
your
new
pardon?
stuff out. Yeah.
I would.
Third one could be, I used to listen to a lot of Kanye West.
Ooh.
Manny Meeks is a new guy at the moment that he was on tour with Dave. So I listen to all sorts really. I normally have a playlist of like all random songs, but the ones I listen to, Elvis is normally on my way to work. I just put the best of Elvis on Spotify. I sound proper old now. But Santan Dave, I've gone to see quite a few times. So.
Jord, how about you, mate? Virulin?
Still a black.
We'll meet again, don't know where.
So similar to Dave, I would have said Kanye West, but you can't really say that anymore, can you? His old stuff was unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, he's like College Dropout is just an absolute unbelievable album. But I won't say Kanye, so I would go with Stereophonics.
Oh.
A little bit of Stereophonics. I would then go recently, and I don't know why. I'm listening to a bit of ABBA recently.
No,
yes.
I am liking a bit of ABBA. You know what?
this.
You can't. And you know what it is as well. It's because my mate's getting married, and we had to put a song. We had to select a song for the thingy, and I got caught up in an ABBA medley. I think it's after Mamma Mia as well, where I went a few months ago.
Yeah.
ABBA. I thought, you know what? A wedding, you can't beat an ABBA medley. So I put "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme" is the song.
Is that your go-to?
Yes.
Is that your go-to
What?
there? Because
What-
like everyone,
what, for a
like
wedding
Elvis,
song?
I got a couple of. Yeah. No, if you need an ABBA song, if you just want an ABBA song on right now.
Yeah, maybe gimme, or
Oh, yeah,
Voulez-Vous,
everyone knows that one.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
one
your
of them two.
go-to Elvis song, Dave?
There's a few, but If I Could Dream's the one, to be fair. That's a banger. I was that for
And-
word for word.
Because we had to prep for this question as well. I had a look at my recent Spotify and 50 Cent recently. I'm getting a lot of bit of 50 Cent at the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but yeah, 50 Cent.
Say
There
this
you
is a big rich town.
Yeah, bit of power. There you
Just the
go.
boy from Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
My go-to Elvis song, Dave, at the minute is American Trilogy.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Glory, glory.
Hallelujah.
Nah, there's like so many on there.
Yeah,
Some
he's
of the
just-
slow, depressing ones I skip through, but like some of the others, like he does loads of the covers. My Way.
Like
the one?
a bridge
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
He
That's
remixed
good,
Dolly
remixed.
Parton? No,
I don't think he
yeah,
remixed it himself.
He covered.
Him and Joel Corey.
Oh, I can't think of the song. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah.
Finn, who's your top three?
I'm just debating now. I know George said we prepped. But
You doing what, sorry?
We're all doing it together, aren't we? And Matt. Matt Cash Out is 4-1. I'm gonna say.
Fucking hell.
That handball
See,
should be overturned.
Bruno Mars is my. I just come back to him every time. Bruno Mars
you're
is up
Bruno
there
Mars.
for tunes.
Yeah, it's good voice.
And then Kanye West and Michael Jackson. I think no. I'll go. See, I like. I'll go Anderson .Paak. See,
Yeah.
I got Anderson .Paak, but then also I could cheat because they came together to make an album, so they could be one, and I've still got two more to go if I'm playing this tactically. Because Silk Sonic are superb.
Who are your three artists, mate?
So let's go for Did you get the Silk Sonic? But you got Silk Sonic.
We've all got homes to go to. Just tell me your three artists.
Yeah.
We're an hour and 22 minutes into their podcast. I want to go to bed. I've got to be up at
Kelly.
5 in the morning. Just tell me your three favourite artists and be done with it.
Okay, bang. 3 favorite artists cut. Silk Sonic, Dave. I think I'm going to chuck Arctic Monkeys in there for legacy, but old Arctic Monkeys. I think. Yeah. Sorry, everyone can go home now and get to work on their
The lights will come back on. Well, the question was bands, so I'm sticking with bands. So for me, it's Arctic Monkeys,
Nice.
and then I'd probably say Cortinas, and then probably say Kasabian. But I used to love Hard-Fi back in the day. I don't know if any of you boys remember Hard-Fi.
Yeah.
Never really.
Do you remember them, Jord?
Yeah. Very much, yeah.
Yeah. So I used to love Hard-Fi back in the day, but they don't make music anymore, or at least I think they might release a new album. But yeah, Arctic Monkeys for me, absolutely superb. Right then, gentlemen, absolute pleasure as always. Finn's gone to bed already. he's not happy. He hasn't had any airtime. This is what happens when people get too big for the boots. So he has a couple of bangs on YouTube, and now he's just he's just seen his request and his rider. We've had to send like 12 bottles of prime round to his house just to get him on the street. He's gone. He's gone.
He has literally gone, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah,
One Betmate win, and thinks he's cashed out, doesn't
Could be.
Bloody Georgie Best there. Dave, where can people find you? Should they wish to follow you, mate?
It's at Dave as a Party on Twitter and Instagram, and obviously the LinkedIn, Dave as a Party. Bash.
Jord, where can people find you? Should they wish to, mate?
Jord Russ 7, Twitter, Instagram, and Jordan Russell on LinkedIn.
Jordan Fours or Jordan Runs.
Well,
Finn, what's Finn as his username? Because the only reason he comes on the podcast is to plug his
To
vlogs,
spell it.
and he got to that point.
It's Finners, which is spell FINERRZ.
And that's on YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, and he's got his new vlog features be quite heavily saying the word gash, so get on it.
Wonderful stuff. I am M Cooper Writes on Twitter, Matt Cooper Bites on YouTube and Twitter. Finn has just sent a message to the podcast. Should we play it?
Yeah, play it. Let's see what he
See
says.
what he says. One sec. This could be awful.
My Wi-Fi's gone, so just play this. Follow me at Finners. Thanks for watching.
The plug. He don't.
Thanks,
miss.
mate. Can you just tell everyone about your recent vlog, and you can get you a shout out now. If anyone has ever messaged Finn, I'm not expecting a reply back at any point tonight.
7 to 10 business days, you know.
Yeah, he takes the piss. He
Yeah.
absolutely takes the piss. But in the meantime, we are at Talking Wolves across all of our socials, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, the big one, LinkedIn. Finn is recording audio. So to see the show out, of course, don't forget to join the Betmate pot Saturday, 3 p.m. £3 in for your chance to win a share of £300. And here we go.
If you want to hear Dave say Brentford a gash about 14 times, then please watch my latest video. Thank you. Finners, FINERRZ. Get in.
Until next time, folks, take care and see you later.